Well, hello to you all once again, and a very happy new year to you all and who you want to be. My name is of course Sam, and I welcome you all to the newest edition and the first of Weird My Newsrooms for the start of 2026 has to offer, with new releases, trailers and news stories or two from the week of entertainment. So let's not waste time and see what the start of the year gave us in terms of media for this week in particular.
Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba.
So this first release technically released last week during the Christmas period, but the film was not a wide release and was mainly in a small selection of cinemas, and its wide release was a week later, which helps to focus on it here, as it's time to bring the case that no matter how small the concept of career may be, that there is always a chance for everyone to dream big, as with the release of the film with that marketing that I would be a little mixed on with the release of Marty Supreme. The film will tell the story of Marty Mauser, a young man with a dream that no one really respects, and will go to hell and back on the journey of the pursuit of greatness and to help to bring the appeal and high skill sport of ping pong to the masses of America. Now, reception on this film has seen some high acclaim, with praising the performances, the narrative, cinematography, and seen as one of the last year's and this year's best, even with the reworking of a possible true story in the focus. If you want to check it out for yourself, it is available to check out now in cinemas. As for the second of the films for this week, will be a case about coming together in the base about hands touching hands. When things seem low, that it's best for reaching out, and some kinds can really touching me and be touching you in many ways. As is the case, we'll be seeing the focus of the career of a duo that take on the cover of an iconic duo, as with the release of a form of a true story with the film of Song Sung Blue. Now, the film is based on the documentary and the lives of both Mark and Claire Sardina, a pair of singers down on their luck who decide to form a Neil Diamond tribute band known as Lightning and Thunder, and providing that it's never too late to find love and follow their dreams. Now, reception on this new film as well has been well received, with praise to its leading performances of Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, the songs, and for being a feel-good film in the festive period season. If you want to check it out for yourself as well, it is available to check out also in cinemas. And to wrap up the new releases for this week, and for the first big launch of the new year, technically released the end of last year in the States, but I'm going with the logic of the releasing here on time-wise, it is time for the world to turn upside down one last time, as we have the release of the third and final part of this final season, with the series finale of Stranger Things. Now, the final episode will be the culmination of the entire group of Hawkins coming together to access the upside down, find a way to seal it off from the rest of the world, and save all and defeat the evil entity of Vecna before his plans come to full power. Now, reception to this final episode is quite a divisive one, with it being in sort of three groups. One that saw the season as a masterpiece, some calling the finale decent amongst a very totally messy final season, and some going as far as calling this season the worst ending since the finale of Game of Thrones. Now, I'd be more in the realm of the middle group, but also have some lingering issues where the series feels there's too many plot holes and issues to some other bits that feel a little too much for fan servicey, in the sense stakes for a finale being very lacking, for it had nice moments overall, as well as a very messy finale. I'll get to it in due point when that video I kind of want to concept and bring up at some point. But if you want to check it out for yourself, the full season and complete series is now available to watch now on Netflix. But with all that regards now, that's all the new releases that we do have for this week. Now, initially, this was the only trailer that we had for the week, but there was one that dropped a couple days later. But after this case, the days may go on, but the clock to the uncertain demise and destruction keeps ticking down. As we are back for the second week in a row to talk once more with an all-new teaser for the upcoming big event film of this year, with the second teaser for Avengers Doomsday. Now, of course, like I mentioned last week, the film will be set 14 months after the events of Thunderbolts and follow on from the Endgame, and it consists of different factions, including the Avengers led by Sam Wilson's Captain America, the Wakandans, the recently arrived Fantastic Four, and the new Avengers, and the appearance of the X-Men, and will team up together to face a new powerful threat of Doctor Doom, who looks a little close to a familiar face from the past. Now, I mentioned in the case from last week that this series of trailers will be making a form of a presence each week, with the second one focusing on Thor, with him being a focus of praying to the gods for helping him in his battle and protecting the child he now is the father of, which is of course Love, which got the end of Love and Thunder. And the way it was shot and toned is really well done. I feel it'll be interesting to see what will come of this character in these two films, and whether this is the kind of big send-off for Thor, after, like, you know, Endgame was for Tony and Steve, this one is for Thor. We can see. Now, likely instance, we will be back next week with the third one being a focus on a certain group of mutants, and then possibly one more drop afterwards, but I guess we can see in due time. Either way, I'm still very excited and a bit optimistic about what is to come with this film, and hope it turns out with the release of the film in cinemas from the 18th of December this year. And for our second and final trailer this week, that is also keeping the realm of superheroes and the realm of Marvel, in the case we have seen the sense of fatigue over the last few years, with some and others having appealed to it still. I still lean more on the latter, kind of thing of like appealing more to it, but still having a little bit here and there. And in the case, it will be getting a bit more meta, even if some aspects of our main character may be a little too perfect for his chance of a lifetime, as we have the release of the second full-length and final trailer for the first of the MCU projects of this year, a trailer for Wonder Man. Now, the series will be a form of a Hollywood satire about the superhero genre and will follow Simon Williams, an actor who gains superpowers after a lab accident and finds himself embroiled in a criminal conspiracy and teaming up with former disgraced actor Trevor Slattery to investigate the company and its connections to ionic radiation, which may be a threat to others, and also explore elements of his family relationship as well as his career struggles in a world where real superheroes exist, the additions for a role of remake to a classic superhero movie. Now, this concept has an interesting take idea that what I could feel is a bit like poking fun the audience and knowing that the ideals of superheroes kind of become too much as of late, or ideas of making could be in the direction of like the approach to the characters maybe not as well known from the comics compared to other established members of the MCU or comics. The approach to this is interesting and gives me a vibe of the whole merchandising and advertising of the Heroes in the Boys series, or the tone of the recent series of the studio, and mixing with the flair of the MCU could be interesting. And I've heard a fair bit of appeal interest with this from early test screenings and other stuff like that, and I'll be watching to see how it all comes about. And it's not too long away as well from release, as this full series will be dropping I think on the same day on Disney Plus from the 29th of January. With all that regards now, that's all the trailers that we have for this week.
Can you repeat the question?
So on the likes of this week's news, that for a bit of time, given that, the period after Christmas, our days blend to one another, initially I thought there was actually no news this week. It was going to be the first one of that too. But I did come across a couple of random stories after checking my notes, and it will be the usual hodgepodge of stuff from reported approaches, casting updates, and some news related to the media that may be going back to how it all was about 3 years ago in some form, but we can delve into that over the stories to see what we have in the focus of this week's particular instances. So we'll start the news in the week with more focus on the realm of superheroes. As we head into the final elements of the current saga, there is some focus on looking ahead into the future of what is to come after the Marvel Cinematic Universe of the multiverse, and it's coming to focus on discussion with a few prominent figures look to be considered to put their mark on the new saga or an established character. And this is coming to us from this week's reports that Nope and Get Out director Jordan Peele and his production company of Monkey Paw have been in discussions with Marvel about making a project for them in the future. Now, this is not the first time that the director has been in talks with the studio, as was reported in the past he was discussed about taking the reign for 2 projects, with one of them being the focus of the X-Men films before the Thunderbolts director of Jake Schreier took over that position. Now, there is a case that his approach of film themes could work for a number of projects, that he could do a solo film for one of the mutants in the X-Men, but the other one could be the initial talks that could be back in discussion, as him helming the troubled development of the Blade movie Mahershala Ali as the Daywalker. Now, there's a few I can see him do well in from those, or the likes of those other projects from bringing back Moon Knight, a film about the Ghost Rider, or even the case that the rumors of the next saga being more in the supernatural realm, then I could see him flex some of the efforts of his Twilight Zone reboot series, or making something akin to Midnight Suns or the third Doctor Strange. But it's clear as to what will be the focus. Now, in all regards, I'll be interested to see what topics and aspects you could make with these series, and be well worth checking out in due time on whatever project he's involved with. In case if you hear anything about what project that is in particular, I'll try and provide in a later episode. Then, from possible unknown speculation to a more concrete release day outcome, we are staying with Disney and hopping a little over to Hulu. As after being teased over the last little while, it was just this week that we were given the official release date to the mini-series revival of the classic sitcom of Malcolm in the Middle, with the new series subtitled Life Still Unfair, set for release on April 10th this year. Now, from what I've gathered on the miniseries plot is that the series picks up about 20 years after the original show ended. We'll see Malcolm happy in his life with his daughter and girlfriend, and disassociated with his family, but that all soon changes when he's requested, or more cases demanded, to attend his parents' 40th wedding anniversary. The likes of the follow-up quite is an interesting one, as I love the original series, as it's such a classic in comedy with some great talent, and while it's not everyone returning as well, the only one I think that's not back is the one that played Dewey. I think he just gave up on acting, but it possibly was recast in this? I have no idea. I'm interested to see what this somewhat revival entail, and this leads to a sort of a follow-up sequel series, but it's kind of hard to say. I feel like maybe it could just work well as just a one-off revival. Either way, I'm interested to check this out by its release around Easter and see if Life is Still Unfair by that time, but I guess we'll see. For the next of the stories for this is giving a focus to a bit of casting shakeup, which is a little bit of a different focus that we have had in a while. But in this instance, it was confirmed that Danny Ramirez will not be back for the 3rd season of The Last of Us, and his role will now be recast for the season. Now, he played the character of Manny, who didn't really appear much in season 2, but he would be more of a prominent focus in the 3rd season, because season 3 is focused more on Abby, which is similar to the games, where he has a bit more of a presence in Abby's storyline aspect. Now, the reason for this is probably due with other big projects work and a bit of a scheduling conflict, as I like the cases the new season of the show is probably heading into filming over the next few weeks, and Ramirez is currently busy with two massive films that you may know as the Avengers movies, as he is currently the new Falcon in the saga and will likely be filming Secret Wars during some point in the time this year. It's kind of a case I'm sure they'll probably have this figured out and some possible recasting, and I'm sure it'll be one that may be a quick turnaround or will be a small delay in production to starting, but I'm sure they are well underway to get the season production started as soon as possible and probably have it all worked out. Now, no word as yet on who they have in mind or confirmed as of yet, but once I hear anything about this and any new changes, I'll provide that in a later episode as well. So in this next story is a bit of a concept for some gaming focused news, and this is with some concept by a company that I haven't mentioned in a long while and was a studio that had banger titles and series before they got rid of one of their best creatives. And this is with the company of Konami. Now, they have been in discussion for this week is that they are hoping to bring more of a series back in more projects, and this comes in the form of the Silent Hill series that has been dormant for about a decade but has been popping up over the last 2 or 3 years. Now, they have this constant idea of wanting to make a new game in the series and release one every year. Now, I can see it somewhat work, which I can give you some idea about the last 2 years of the releases of the remake of Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill F last year, which were both well received, and the idea could work in the case that they are currently deep into the development of the original game, also getting a remake at some point as well. However, it will be a case that may not be the biggest of games, or will be stale, which was seen before of other yearly series such as the Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, and the many sports titles EA that get released every year, with kind of not really much minor changes kind of thing, and could be a bit repetitive. Now, I feel if anything, they should give as much time to develop the games and make them as polished and appealing as those last 2 titles were, instead of sort of a rush job for every year, but I guess we can see what comes of it. In the case of things, it's unclear if it means we will get a new title in the series this year or will be in the future as of yet, but if anything becomes better, I'll provide that in a later episode as well. And for our final story of the week, is we have a focus on this week is one in the realm of feeling like we have some possible deja vu going on here. That's a focus on the early parts of the series of these videos, but it ties to a little bit of some more recent discussions, and that's with the case of some updates on the studio mergers of Warner Bros. And Netflix. So it seems the case that WWE will be sticking with the ideas of the streaming merger, that not one for Paramount, that even if it's a lot more money, it's still focused on wanting to have a bit more of a less foreign money use and warping content to shape the ways of the deranged man. And since that announcement a few weeks ago, most has been quiet since then. But this changed a little this week, where one of the big concerns about the merger was the ideas that most WWE films will now likely missing a cinema release. But they emphasized that's not the case. But that was also heavily reduced, as according to the information, every film now from WB will be getting just a 17-day theatrical window, which is kind of a weird number for a window, but it also feels a little low for a theatrical release and could affect cinema revenue and appeal, which seems odd since Netflix releases in cinemas last year did decently well from the releases of K-pop Demon Hunters in August, Knives Out in November, Frankenstein in October, and even the finale of Stranger Things just this week. This has caused a lot of drama and ordeal, and from what I've heard from the messy takeover and feeling a bit shady and affecting so many things, it has been reported that another actors' strike may be on the horizon, and I would not be surprised if it does happen. Now, it's not been confirmed to be happening yet, but I see it as likely for both actors and writers in production to be affected by it all, and I suggest that the initial strikes 3 years ago had, before some aspects were essentially neglected, like the AI stuff, we're going to do Disney, and even improved outcomes that I am all for, because this whole merger stuff just feels very messy, shady, and could be a case that could work out any issues instead of needing to buy everyone out of single distribution. But I guess we'll keep an eye on the outcome if the picket lines will be forming once again. But what do you think of these stories? Will MCU projects or characters could you see the best choice for Jordan Peele to handle well? Are you excited for the Malcolm Mill reboot? And what are your thoughts on the original series in particular? Who do you see in the role of Ramirez in The Last of Us now? Would you be fine with yearly Silent Hill releases or rather long development for them? And do you see the release window being good or bad, and will it be more strikes all over again from this Netflix merger? Let me think down below, and with all that regards, that's all the news stories that we do have for this week. And now, case with all of that ends episode 137, I think, of Weird Mind Newsroom. I hope you enjoy my ramblings for the start of this year. But anyways, let's talk about all that's coming out over the next little while. So we're going to get cracking on this stuff into the new year. We'll get some reviews started. I'm going to get that Last of Us review done. As I mentioned in case, I will probably do a video about Stranger Things. Maybe either a full series review or just a 5th season review, and maybe just my thoughts about like fixing stuff or like what I would do in approach of things now, because there's a bit of stuff and a lot of things going on around that fucking Stranger Things finale, and the Duffer Brothers just won't keep their mouths shut, because if they're constantly answering questions after series ended, then it feels like it's a bit lazy. That's my case. But yeah, you're going to see the last review coming out. You'll probably see that coming along. You'll see some long and short form variations. You're going to see more snack size box office coming around. I'll get to those ones I have, like, saved in my vault somewhere, of getting them done, and those, like, the 2 or 3 I have ready to go. But those will be coming along, so look forward to those, and I'll be doing more into the new year as well. Then the case of gameplays. So I will be doing more gameplays and stuff like DK Bonanza. I'll be doing some more Mario Wonder, Star Wars, Cyberpunk, and all these other games coming along as well, and a few new ones as well. I will probably start streaming at some point, because I do have this boy, which is the boom mic arm, and it's probably a case I will probably, set up as a structural thing here I can at least use that, like, I can figure it out. I'll probably see, maybe in the next couple of days, I'll try and figure it out, or maybe I'll probably see if I need anything else, because I feel like I probably have a good bit of stuff, but I need to make sure I have everything. But I'll get to those, and then I'll start some other stuff as well, like I'll do some like gameplay, I'll do some other gameplay stuff like, Alan Wake, Silent Hill, Expedition 33 and stuff like that kind of thing, and all different variations, as well as some other big games coming this year, like GTA 6, Wolverine, like all these big titles, so look forward to those. In the case of long form stuff, I will get to the rewatchathon, I will get to the Horror Mouse Boar, I will get to the AI Audience Choice video, I will get to more time-lapse builds. I'm trying to look back on the list of stuff I sent and to see which ones I said was probably gonna be next. I think I had one that's a vehicle, so it might be a case of that one, but I'll have a look. I know the last one was a vehicle with Optimus Prime, but it's more just a focus vehicle. But yeah, I think that's basically all I have for the moment. But yeah, it's kind of a case of just seeing that regards. But I'm gonna leave there for now. So if you like my content or see more from me more frequently, then simply like and subscribe. I upload stuff every single week. I'll try and upload a few more things every week now, instead of just being like a one-time thing, if I have the energy and time focus. Like, mentally I'm not in a good place. I feel a bit insomniac. I haven't really slept properly in the last couple of days, so maybe we'll fix. But my goal for maybe this year for the minute is going to be for 1,000 subs. We crossed 500, and I appreciate all you for helping me out there, and before I start bawling my eyes out last week, so I apologize for that. I know mental support, and just I know everybody gets but yeah. But yeah, I'll probably hopefully aim for that at the end of this year, but we'll see how it goes. Even in case if it gets to a certain point, even like 750 be strong enough. But yeah, we'll see. Let me know your thoughts on everything discussed this week as well, from the releases, the trailers, and news stories, and let me know your thoughts of what you're looking forward to seeing this year from like movies, games, shows, books, music, all that sort of stuff. I will probably be doing actually a video as well on the anticipated media and just go through everything I'll try and get. So look forward to that. But in that regards, I think we should end it there now for the moment. So as always, you all stay being wonderful people. Have a great day every day, doing many great things, and keeping you because knows what you do. Now, I've been your host, Sam, of course. I shall see you all in the next episode and into the continuing new year. So take care. I shall see you later.